Good morning. I would like to call this meeting to order. Thank you for joining us during our weekly hybrid MLS breakfast meeting. My name is Jolene Tu from Remax My Home, and I'm your March program chair. Jeffrey Wu from Remax My Home will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Jeffrey.
Can you put your hand to your right hand to your heart? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which is one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Jeffrey. And Nancy Chang from Lawyers Title will be providing our inspirational quote for the day.
Nancy, turn on the mic.
It's not on?
Is it on?
It's on. And I don't need the mic.
I could hardly hear him.
Okay, everybody. I have two quotes, but I'm going to do this one. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. This is by Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And next, I guess I'm talking a little bit about myself. Hi again, everyone. I'm Jolene Tu. A little bit about my background. I'm currently a broker at Remax My Home in Temple City. But what feels like a very long time ago, I actually started my career as a corporate lawyer. One of my earlier legal jobs, I was asked to work for an American law firm at its satellite office in Shanghai. I thought I was going to be in Shanghai for about a year when I took the job, but it ended up I worked there for 6 years straight. I loved the experience. The food was amazing, the partying, the lights, endless karaoke nights and foot massages. As you can imagine, it was awesome. When I finally moved back to the States, I purchased a home, and that's when I fell in love with real estate. As much as I loved real estate experience, I mean, the legal experience, it still felt like a job, but real estate, it's really my passion. When someone asks if I can show them a home, I cannot wait. I'm like, yes. And I'm always like more excited than the buyer. So I went full-time into real estate and never looked back. Today, I love working with my agents, such as Jeffrey, Sheng Zhang, and hope to share the same enthusiasm with other talented agents. And I want to thank the C.A.R. board for allowing me the opportunity to be your March program chair. Thank you. And next, we have a few housekeeping tips. All participants who will be muted upon entry to the MLS breakfast meeting. And should you have any questions or a comment, please remember to enter it into the chat box. Please remember to join us weekly, as we will have our hybrid MLS breakfast meeting every Thursday at 9 a.m. As always, this meeting is being recorded and will be available online on our YouTube channel, West San Gabriel Valley Realtors. Please remember to follow the WSGVR social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also watch all our pre-recorded videos on YouTube. Join our text message group. For updates, text WSGVR to the number 888-0301-2201. And all that information is also displayed on the screens above. Today's agenda consists of our affiliate spotlight, Nancy Chen of Lawyers Title Company, and our speaker, Cecilia Rudar, Nanette Ang, Jeff Wong, Lorraine Clark, Thomas Wong, with Brian Chang, our 2023 C.A.R. Region 16 chair, who will be moderating today. Just a reminder that to be eligible for today's drawings, you must be a West San Gabriel Valley member and be present in person at the association. We will be having an attendance drawing, Amazon gift card drawing, and 50-50 raffle. Today, our affiliate spotlight will be brought to you by the affiliate chair, Chair Lena Sankari from US Bank, and Vice Chair Teresa Nguyen from Loan Direct. Please remember to support our affiliates with their transactions. Take it away, Nancy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And when Jolene, everybody asked me to do this, and I was reflecting on myself, I found out I'm a really pretty boring person. I don't have a lot of interest, and I get fun out of solving people's problems. So what I'm going to say is my life consists of what I was taught by my father. So the slide will show my family. That's who I live for. I'm the first of the 5 children. In the middle, that's my parents. And there's me, and then my sister on the left, and my other sister is sitting next to my mom. My father's from Shanghai, so I love Shanghainese food. My mom is from Beijing, so I love noodles and everything. So we are the North and South blending of a family. The story that I always treasure is not who I am, is where I came from. My father is a self-made man. He was 16, went to college when he was 16 in Shanghai, Zhongda. Then the Japanese invaded China. There was over 10,000 students abandoned their school, went into the war, fighting to defend their country from the Japanese. That's a cold, hard history that, changed everybody's life. Because my father's from the South, my mom's from the North. Because the war, my father went to Taiwan with the Chiang Kai-shek army. So he met my mom, because my grandparents from my mom's side went to Taiwan too, because he was working for the Kuomintang, my grandfather. So this is like a mixture of North and South. And I really treasure that memory because in China, there's also a lot of discrimination. The Chinese doesn't like the Cantonese, the Northern Chinese don't like the Southern Chinese. There's so many different languages in China, nobody can communicate. So how are you going to bring the people together when you can't even talk to each other? And you have your own culture. So when my father wanted to marry my mom, because my grandmother's from the last empress dynasty, so she's saying, my daughter is not going to marry a commoner from the little village off of the coast of Shanghai, Chongming. That's the 3rd largest island in China. The largest one's Taiwan. The second one is Hainan, a little geography lesson. And then also Chongmingdao, that's 3 islands. So my dad worked really hard, left the army, went to the Taiwan University, National University, got his chemical engineering degree. Then he got a 2nd degree living in the back behind the wall of the school dormitory in the shed. And he finished the English degree because he says, I'm in engineering, I need all the books and research is English. So if I don't know English, I can never advance myself. So he does have 2 degrees. Then he came over here, went to Lowell Tech on a scholarship to Boston, Lowell, Massachusetts. Went back there, at that time, you already have 4 kids. So we all survived on $200 US from his student grant. My mom worked really hard, raised 5 kids. She did not complain. So I thought about this history is a very simple example of how when you have a will, you have a way. And when we escaped, my father went to Vietnam and started the biggest textile in Southeast Asia. And then because of the war, we came over here. The story is we all work hard for something. That something better be worth it. My dad worked hard for the family. His father died when he was 11. Mom was left in China. Couldn't see his mom for 40 some years. But I work hard for my family. And I lost a brother, the tall one, to cancer 15 years ago. I lost my dad 14 years ago to another lung disease. Maybe that was COVID, I don't know. But I'm just teasing. But I have 2 kids, and what we do for our family that I think people should always know, there's gotta be something important in your life. And my second family is my realtor friends and my lender friend, the people that I really care about. You guys gave me the opportunity to buy a house for my parents, buy a house for my brother, and be able to give them a good life in this country. So that's my story. Even though I'm with a title company, I'm your friend, and this is my second family. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nancy. We will now have our affiliate introductions for today. All affiliates present today, please line up at the front. Please no promotions. This is a morning greeting only. We will begin with affiliates in person.
Good morning, everyone. Brandon Savransky with First American NHG. Have a fantastic day.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Lena Carey from US Bank Home Mortgage. Thank you. Happy Thursday. This is C.A.R with Wells Fargo Home Loan Mortgage.
Good morning. This is Alex, your lucky feng shui master. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Phoebe Liu from East West Bank. I'm local commercial as a home loan officer. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Cosmo Sanchez with New Aim Funding Mortgage Lender.
Good morning, everyone. Chris Hahn with Guild Mortgage. Have an awesome day.
Good morning, Nancy Chan again, lawyer's title. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Esther Chow. I'm a mortgage consultant with HSBC Bank. We just moved to Arcadia. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Yolanda Martinez Arenas, WFG National Title Company. Make it a great day.
Good morning, everybody. Richard Zaletta, ACG Funding. Let's all enjoy this weather after about a month and a half of nothing but rain.
Good morning, everybody. Ed Higuchi with New York Life. Hoping is not a plan. Thank you.
Good morning, Alina Chu from Glen Oaks Escrow. Have a wonderful day.
Good morning, everyone. Lucia Tam representing CARE Chinese American Real Estate Professional Association. Enjoy the sun while it's here.
Good morning, Bob Chu with Champion Escrow.
Good morning, David Tran with Home Guard Home Warranty. I'm grateful to be back. Just give you a quick what happened. Thank you. I came back just to make sure that I still have this job. 2 months ago, when I was driving down the street, I saw 2 stop signs and I knew something was happening. My friend said, "What happened?" So what did you do? I said, "I stopped twice." But I'm glad to be back. Thank you. I'll be harassing you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will call our affiliates who are with us virtually. We have John Wax from Snap NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Happy March. John Wax with Snap NHD Natural Hazard Disclosures. Have an awesome month and a great day. Thank you. Information in the chat.
And we also have Sage Gomez from My NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Sage Gomez here with My NHD. Have a great day.
And Judy Chow from AAA Capital Investments.
Good morning. Happy new month. And I'm Senior Officer for AAA Capital Investment. And have a great week.
Mark Wu from Laveau Insurance Services.
Good morning, everybody. Have a delightful week. Mark Wu here for your property and insurance needs.
Teresa Lam from Corinthian Title Company. And Angie Tan, who is here in person.
I made it. Hi, guys. Good morning. Angie Tan, First American Title. Have a wonderful caravan. Thank you.
And one more.
Good morning. I'm Angie Wong from Loan Direct. Sorry I'm late.
Thank you, everyone. Awesome. So we're happy to include open pitches to our hybrid MLS breakfast meetings. Remember, if you would like to pitch your listing, you must go to the www.wsgvr.com, click on open pitch, fill out the caravan request form, and submit it no later than Tuesday midnight of the week you want to pitch. Today, we do not have any listings. Now, help us welcome our moderator for this morning, Brian Chen, immediate past president and 2023 C.A.R. Region 16 chair.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. C.A.R., in case some of you don't know, holds 3 business meetings a year, and all of the decisions were made by directors of C.A.R., which consists of representatives from each local association. So there is like almost 900 directors gather at these business meetings. The first business meeting is always in the winter, and this year it was in Indian Wells. And the second meeting is a spring meeting, which is Sacramento. We also call that the legislative meetings because we do go and meet with our legislators and talk to them about bills that C.A.R. has a position on. And the third meeting is the fall meeting. The fall meeting is the one that was Expo every year. And this year, the fall meeting will be in Anaheim. So please be on the lookout for these meetings. The fall meeting is free for everybody to attend. So do plan to attend so you get an idea of what C.A.R. is about. But at these business meetings, there are usually 41 committees that meet, committees and forums that meet and discuss what's going on in the real estate industry and what C.A.R. can do to help advance the private ownership rights and preserve the realtor business rights. And the following are the reports from a few of these committees. We have C.A.R. Rudar leading off, followed by Nanette, and then Jeff Wang and Lorraine Leffler. I'm sorry, Lorraine Morrison. Lorraine Clark. And
so
funny. And in the audience with us is also William Wei, who also attended C.A.R. meetings, but his report did not have anything that's locally concerned, so we did not invite him. And also, the co-delegate is led by our president, Ling Chao. And as the regional chair, Regional 16 consists of West San Gabriel Valley Realtors and the Citrus Valley Realtors. So our delegation is about 25 people going to these C.A.R. meetings. And in Sacramento, we also funded eight scholarships that go there for one day to meet with our legislators for one day. So those are people chosen from various committees that that they have applied, and potentially we hope that after they get the C.A.R. experience, they get involved and move forward to get involved with the local leadership. So without further ado, let's turn the mic over to C.A.R. Rudar.
Okay, my assignment from Brian Chan, our Regional 16 Director, was to attend the Forum on Forms. Now, forums in general are informational meetings only, and they do not have motions or action items. But forums are mostly for information, and information is important in this industry. On February 8th from 9 till 10:30 was my assignment at the Standard Forms Advisory Committee Forum on Forms. C.A.R. is under many lawsuits from the Department of Justice. The use of buyer broker forms is a hot topic right now, and you'll hear my constituents over here speaking more on this topic. The discussion is that the buyers are not involved in the commission amount that is designated for the buyer's brokerage compared to the seller's brokerage. Who gets what part of the negotiated fee from the seller? Commission has always been set by the seller brokerage through the listing agreement and is paid from the seller's proceeds. But the Department of Justice, in all their wisdom, says that our transactions should be transparent and we should have a buyer broker compensation agreement, and it's encouraged that we should become their agents for the buyer, therefore negotiating commission with the buyer. This will become a standard of practice. Once it becomes a standard of practice, everybody will be doing this. In the long run, the buyer is paying the commission through the sales price, yet they have no say as to what their agent gets in commission. The buyer broker agreements are not widely used in California. Maybe in the Northern California, they're starting to use them, but us in the Southern California are not using them. But there are 6 new versions of varied buyer representation and broker compensation agreement forms in the making, yet to be approved, not only by legal, but also by the whole body of the California Association of Realtor Delegates. Also, property management forms, if you're into that. There are 8 new forms that are pending or revised or simply just renamed. There is a new form called the Rental Property Owner Disclosure, similar to the SPQ, designed particularly for the property manager or lease listing agent regarding the property condition. There are 11 miscellaneous other new and revised forms to be finalized. Also, there are cleanup and revisions of existing forms. It's called wordsmithing, new word in the dictionary. Members or staff catch mistakes in the forms, and this committee fixes those mistakes or clarifies them or catches typos. Also, these cleanup issues clarify paperwork from NHDs, escrows, tenant occupied issues, and home warranty issues, along with the standard forms that we use. Remember, C.A.R. no longer monitors the legal validity of any prior form version, and the C.A.R. User Protection Agreement only applies to the most current version of a form. This being said, make sure that if you have forms that have been previously printed, that you are using the most current version or you're not protected by C.A.R. legal. And that's the end of my report, Brian.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. As you know, industry is constantly changing, and buyer representation broker compensations, we call that BRBC form, will become widely used for buyer representation. So this year is the first step that C.A.R. is pushing the industry into getting to know these forms, because sooner or later, we're projecting probably 2024, they will become standardized practice. You have to. In my company, I already made them aware. Many of the brokers here need to be aware of what's going on. So I always encourage brokers to attend C.A.R. meetings, especially in the risk management and the forms committee meetings. They're open. Committee members sit in the front, the audience sit in the back. Everybody is encouraged to go to these C.A.R. meetings. They're free. Okay. Next, we have Nanette.
Thank you, Brian. Among the many meetings that we attended at C.A.R. winter meetings, one of them was Transaction and Regulatory Committee that I attended. This committee is a policy committee. Its mission is to develop C.A.R.'s overall policy agenda as it relates to the practice of real estate. It has original jurisdiction to evaluate transactional issues, legislation, and regulation in the following areas: licensing, liability and risk management, real estate finance, and transactional. So one of the topics that they discussed during this meeting in February was about remote online notarization. Over the last several years, C.A.R. has participated in efforts to support various pieces of legislation sponsored by the remote online notarization industry that would have brought remote online notarization to California. Unfortunately, nothing has come into fruition yet because the two ends don't meet. The liability right now, if we were to have remote online notarization, would be on the realtors, their clients, and title companies as well. So C.A.R. is crafting another legislation and is sponsoring legislation to enact a state mandated remote online notarization licensing system in California that doesn't borne the liability on the realtors, but on the RON providers themselves. So Some of the notary types we have here in California right now are 3 types. We know that we have standard, and we have electronic, and we have mobile. Standard, as we all know, is somebody has to come in person. You have to meet the notary in person and show your ID, fingerprints, and all that, and then notarize the document. That's one way. The electronic way, the second way, is that you still have to come in person, but you can digitally sign the documents online, but you still have to show in person or show up in person. The third type is mobile notary, where you can have a notary come to you. It's like a traveling notary. They can come to you. They still have to meet you in person and see you in person, show your ID and such. The remote online notarization doesn't require any of that. I don't know if all of you know, you don't require any of that. You do it digitally online. So California doesn't accept that yet. There are other states that do accept that, but California does not. However, or California notaries cannot do that. Other notaries in other states can. So if you're out of state, you can enlist in looking for a notary that does do online notary and have it valid. I guess you would have to ask the institutions here, title companies, escrow companies, and see if they accept it. So that's what C.A.R. is fighting for, legislation that allows remote online notarization here, but have the liability on the RON or the remote online providers instead of the realtors and their clients. So that is one topic. The next topic is the clarification of natural hazard disclosure statement. California law has created new fire districts which are not included in the current NHD form. So many of you NHD reps know this. Updating the NHD requires statutory direction or legislative direction and cannot be accomplished through a change in standard forms. So C.A.R. sponsors legislation to update the NHD, the natural hazard disclosure, to include information related to defensible space mandates imposed on parcels located in high fire severity zones. And lastly, I wanted to touch on is electrification. So many of you know about electrification, how they are trying to force maybe new real estate transactions or new builds to have, to move away from electric stoves, for example, to move away from gas stoves to electric stoves, or smart devices that are electric friendly and such. So C.A.R. has longstanding existing policy to oppose any time of sale requirement, which may unreasonably burden or delay close of escrow, increase transactional costs, or mandate improvements which will not be cost effective. Additionally, with respect to state electrification mandates, C.A.R. has developed an abundance of policies over the last 3 decades to ensure that real estate transactions are not used as a state's enforcement tool for conservation improvements. So in other words, they are against mandating electrification to close a sale, to delay your escrow. So if they are in favor of a voluntarily moving to electrification, perhaps offering rebates or incentives for homeowners or new homeowners to move into electrification, but not mandating them. So C.A.R. has adopted clear policy directing its opposition to any electrification mandates being placed on existing structures. And that one more thing is in response to and also to add on to what Sil had mentioned about the BRBC, there are 2 class action suits coming, and they will be going to trial the end of this year, towards the end of the year, as the C.A.R. attorney has stated. And that ends my report.
Thank you. And also at the regional chairs meetings, there were a lot of concern about the electrification process because many rural area has limited electrical supplies. And it's not as simple as you simply go and install you have to install a larger electric box to make it so you have enough amperage for those electrical appliances. However, it is about the infrastructure, how electric companies deliver the electricity. When you have an increased capacity, everything changes. So it's not just simple as, oh, each home, you go ahead and change. The whole thing has to be considered. There's a lot of discussion about rural areas worried because they don't have enough electric supplies. Okay, thank you very much, Nanette. And these are not the only topics that they discuss at the committees. We are only bringing you motions that were passed or discussion that's relevant to local concern. In the next committee, there were several motion that did not get passed, and the debate was very lively. So if you guys ever attend, you will see how C.A.R. functions, and you will have a whole new perspective of how organized real estate is formed in California. Next, we have Jeff Wang.
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to get right into my report. There's two parts to it. The first part is items that C.A.R. stance is to support the following in its current version. So this is C.A.R. supports AB 62 Mathis, which would establish a statewide goal to increase above and below ground water storage capacity in California by a total of 3,700,000 acre feet by the year 2030, and a total of 4 million acre feet by the year 2040 as well. The second item is for 225 Grayson Environmental Hazard Booklet Update. C.A.R. will sponsor legislation to update the state's residential environmental hazard booklet to add 3 new chapters related to wildfire, climate change, and sea level rise. The second part of my report is focused on items that are just a sneak peek that's coming down the pipe. C.A.R. stance is simply just to monitor these, and the details are still being fleshed out, but I thought I want to mention these because it was pretty interesting. That there is still quite a bit of discussion on net energy metering 3 related to solar energy, and that's being planned. SB 49 Becker, they're considering solar canopy tax incentives for construction of solar canopies for over large parking lots. There's AB3, offshore wind energy to accelerate offshore wind energy projects. AB 65 Mathis, which is nuclear fusion thermal power plants to allow the development of nuclear power plants statewide in California. The last one is the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection Regulation is to set up defensible space requirements to 3 distinct zones. So that concludes my report. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Next, we have Lorraine Clark.
Since all of you, I must be fairly new here, so I would like to introduce myself. I am Lorraine Clark. And the joke on the whole thing is we have 2 Lorraines. There were 3 Lorraines on this board of directors at one time, and 2 of them have passed, and we miss them and love them dearly. And I am not at all offended to be called by either of them. I'm honored. Anyway, as you've gathered, all of us, we have one responsibility usually from our region that we must attend and make reports on. However, we attend several committees, learn a lot of different items. In addition to the one I'm going to talk about, the Professional Standards Committee, I am a trustee. So if you don't know, C.A.R. has 3 political PACs. We have Impact, we have CREPAC, and we have CREAG. They're the 3 PACs. I am a trustee, I am a trustee for CREPAC and CREAG. The difference is CREPAC and CREAG deal with individual representatives from all levels, from the city council all the way up to the federal level. And Impact deals with issues. So I just want you to know, I cannot report on these things. They are confidential, but we are presently looking at and working in the political arena. Now to my report. C.A.R. is implementing a pilot program for centralized statewide administration of professional standards cases. CAR will be selecting 6 to 10 associations to take part in this pilot program and hopes to hire a part-time consultant. They anticipate that this program will be up and running very shortly. One thing that I don't know if we will be taking part in this because we already take part. You may not be aware, but along with several other associations, we presently use Linda Conway of Tyler and Brush. They're a certified professional standards administrators, and they conduct and manage all of our complaints. Of course, when it goes to panels, those panels come to our association, our members, but it is professionally handled as far as the paperwork goes. And I think that C.A.R. probably got their idea from our model. Anyway, so then the Pro Standards Committee also received an update explaining the changes of the 2022 procuring cause guidelines. Procuring cause is an element of the arbitration, and these arbitrations deal with commission disputes. They're the disputes, however, not between the listing brokers. It's the disputes between the commission, the buyer's brokers. So a lot of times there's different conflicts. And I'll get back to my notes here. Between brokers with both claiming that they are entitled to the selling agent commission. The disputes do not involve the listing agent or the seller. It usually pertains to determining which broker is entitled to a unilateral offer of compensation. And the reason being is that the factor of procuring cause you may access, I'm sorry, I apologize. This NAR policy prohibits local associations from adopting one rule that predetermines outcome in commission disputes. We must always consider all factors, amounts of participation with broker involvement being very important. The use of the buyer representation, buyer compensation agreement, the BRBC form aids in establishing either a non-exclusive or an exclusive agency relationship between the buyer and the broker. You may access this chart by going onto C.A.R. and just search procuring cause, and there'll be a whole list of different things. I mentioned that the listing brokers may also have procuring cause disputes. However, they are code of ethic violations and judicial repercussions, not arbitration. And that concludes my report.
And I want to add and clarify, procuring cost is one of the most difficult determinant in the determining who gets the commission, because it is not as simple as I showed it first, I get the commission. It is not. There are 21 factors, count them, 21 factors. It has to present evidence, and the adjudication panel have to determine on the weight, on the swing of the pendulum. And, I encourage all brokers to look up what procuring cost factors are, because a lot of brokers out there are totally non-informed, not even misinformed. They have no idea how procuring cost is supposed to be determined. And that resulted in a lot of frivolous claims. So anyway, thank you, Lauren, for that wonderful report. And I have Thomas next.
Right. Thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone. I am the C.A.R. regional rep for the Fair Housing Committee, and my report will be as follows. There's going to be one action item, one update at the state level with 2 assembly bills and 1 Senate bills, and then an update at the federal level. So before I dive in, I want to give you a summary of the mission statement for this committee. So this committee will evaluate current and proposed government policy that will address fair housing, discrimination in housing, and home ownership rate gaps, just to name a few. So the first action item is that the C.A.R. sponsor legislation to facilitate greater access to educational resources on revocable living trusts for low and moderate income homeowners. The objective of this legislation is to avoid a costly probate process and help ensure that generational wealth is preserved, particularly for households of color. This legislation is a non-controversial bill, AB 717 by Villa Perua. It is in the assembly now, and it may be heard in March 16. For the stay update, C.A.R. also took the stand to continue monitor these bills. And I just want to make sure to clarify that these bills do not necessarily mean that it guarantees that will pass. It can be in the work, or it can be amended or sent back to the Senate, from the Senate back to the Assembly when there are no agreement between the two parties. There could be reconciliation in the process. So it is a lengthy process, and then the final saying is the signature by the government of the state of California. I just want to make sure that we're all clear on that. But these specific bills, the C.A.R. are monitoring the progress of the bills. So the first bill is the AB 86 by John Sawyer in regard to homelessness. So this bill established a lead state entity for the purpose of ending homelessness. As currently drafted, the AB 86 contained in 10 language, but it will likely be amended in the future to include more robust language. The lead entity will be proposing recommendations to the legislature and the development of the statewide strategic plan of homeless. Okay, moving on, the second bill is the AB 222 by Aaron Bola from the Civil Rights Department and the California with Disability Work Group. So this bill requires the Civil Rights Department, formerly the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, to convene a work group to make recommendation to the legislature for the development of accessibility and anti-discrimination laws for people with disability. It is, like I said earlier, the status is in the assembly desk right now. Moving on, the third one is the Senate Bill 16 by Smallwood and Cuevas from the Civil Rights Discrimination Enforcement. So this bill looks to clarify the California Fair Employment and Housing Act to specify that the law shall not be used to limit or restrict effort by local entities to enforce a state law prohibiting discrimination against classes of persons covered by the act in the areas of employment and housing. Last but not least, from the federal level, there was an update from the HUD. It is also known as the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which announces the intention to address appraisal biases in the FHA financing. So the HUD, through the Federal Housing Administration, is creating a process that people seeking FHA financing can use to request a review of their appraisal if they believe the result may have been skewed by racial bias. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Thomas. And the last person to make a report is Yimber, but unfortunately Yimber is out of town on pre-arranged travel. So she has turned in her written report to me, and I will make the report on her behalf. Yimber was assigned to Taxation and Government Finance Committee, Federal Committee, and Realtor Risk Management and Consumer Protection Forum. And the Federal Committee and the Realtor Risk Management and Consumer Protection Forum, they had no action items, so I won't even go into that. For the taxation, CAR adopt a 4 position on an as yet unnumbered ballot position that will appear on the November 5th, 2024 state ballot entitled Limits Ability of Voters and State and Local Governments to Raise Revenue for Government Services. This sounds like it's a negative title, it limits the voters, but actually is in favor of the voter, some of the background is in California Supreme Court in 2017's Cannabis Coalition versus Upland decision. It actually opened the doors for the bypass of 2/3 vote requirement for government to add any new taxes. It changed it to simple 51% majority from 2/3. What that means is however many people voted, as long as more than 50% is in favor, the government can increase local taxes. With that used to be 2/3 majority passage in order for the local government to increase taxes. And as you know, government spending needs to be controlled and limited. So this bill that limit ability of voters and state and local government to raise revenue for government services, when that bill is introduced in November 5th, 2024, that CAR is adopting a 4 position. We urge everybody to vote yes on that, because that will put the requirement back to 2/3 passage in order for a new tax to be imposed. That's very important. There's something else that's worth mentioning is California Realtor Party, the task force recommends that there is a change in the Realtor Action Fund investment levels. And for general investment, introductory level is $20. For participation club is $49 and $199 for cost of doing business and $449 California Silver Bear starting in 2024. But we actually increased the cost of doing business for 2023 to $197. All of the directors, CAR directors representing West and Gabriel have to contribute minimally $197, the old level of cost of doing business. That has increased to $199. So each one of us, we have to pay $2 more, okay, minimally. And also they changed the capital reception in the spring meeting. We have California's always host a capital reception where we invite all the legislators to come and our members to go and greet them. And that way we get involved and get to know our local politicians. However, this year, CAR has passed the motion to limit the member attending the capital reception to $449 California Silver Bear donors. So if you want to meet, have a place to have a reception and meet the legislators in person, you have to contribute $449. However, this year also we have a block party on Tuesday. And also the region 16 is hosting a tent lunch for we invite legislators. The tent will be set outside the lawn area of the Capitol. And many associations do that. That's another way of letting our directors to meet our local legislators. Okay, so that's also a good participation. And there are 8 scholarship recipients that will attend the Legislator Day, which is Wednesday. I believe you guys are here. The people who are being funded as a scholarship, besides the directors, can you please stand? No, for this year. Come on, stand. These people will all be invited to go to the state capitol in Sacramento meeting to meet with our legislators, and hopefully we'll get them involved into future leaders. Okay, great. That brings me to a next point. Next slide, please. RAF, Realtor Action Fund. You guys may not be aware, every year our state legislatures passes on an average 1,400 bills. Some of them involves real estate. They can, if a wrong bill passed, can dramatically change the way we do business. So there's a saying, you want to stay in organized real estate, get involved with politics. And one way C.A.R. is monitoring all those bills and analyzing them with our own legal staff and develop a recommendation for what kind of position and for the discussion at these C.A.R. business meetings are funds coming from Realtor Action Funds. And that's the little line in your annual dues bill that says, yes, I participate. I believe in our billing, there's a $49, right? The minimum, bare minimum that C.A.R. is hoping is every member of every association donate at least $20. That's the bare minimum. If everybody contribute $20, the fund will be healthy. But unfortunately, that's not what most members do. So we go to the next level of $49. And for directors, we try to convince them to go with the cost of doing business. Another level is $199. Okay. And for, I believe, Lorraine, you're a silver bear, right? Sterling. Okay. I'm striking out with you, Lorraine. But anyway, Sterling Bear. Okay, so the more you contribute, you are contributing to a very important fund that help us, the realtors, monitor our legislators to make sure they don't write bad bills that can put us out of business. And believe me, there are legislators that are so pro-tenant rights, pro-government taxations, pro this and pro that, and against private property rights and against realtors to do business. So please, I urge you to contribute at least the cost of doing business, $199. It is a small token to help the organized real estate, help C.A.R. do a better job monitoring all those bills. And also, as you know, lobbying costs money. And we have to lobby legislators to get their support, to see our point of view, to see a new perspective, okay, that can help preserve private property rights. Think about all the tenants protection bills that was passed in 2019 and all the COVID bills. How has that devastated the small mom and pop landlords? They don't have to pay rent. You cannot evict them, you know. Anyway, so I'll step off my soapbox. Okay, thank you very much. And back to you. Oh, yes. Sorry. Any questions? Q&A. No questions. You guys did a great job, or they're also asleep. Anyway, if you slept, good rest, good energy. Okay. Thank you.
On behalf of West and Gilbert Valley Realtors, we'd like to thank our 2023 C.A.R. directors for a very informative update. Next, we'll have attendance drawing, highlight of the day. All WSGVR members are included in attendance drawings. Not all can be displayed, but all are included. Pot is at $225 today. If we don't get a winner, $25 gets added to the pot each week until we have a winner. If we get a winner, pot will begin again at $25. If for our last breakfast meeting of the year, we still do not have a winner, we will draw names until we get a winner. Winner must be present in person at the association to win. When your name is called, you must announce that you are present. If we call your name 3 times and you do not respond, we will move on. So today's winner is Nancy Ayla? Nancy? Are you here, Nancy? Not here? Okay. So we're adding the $25 to next pot. Next, we're going to have the Amazon gift card drawing. Make sure your business cards are in the tumbler. We will select 3 winners for those attending in person. Each will receive a $25 Amazon gift card. Good luck. Does anybody have all of their business cards in the tumbler? Yay. Yay, David. And the winners are George Shu from Mustard Seed Realty, Winnie Tam from Cotai Realty, and Lucia from Karipa. Oh yes, Lucia Tam. Congratulations. Please make sure to participate in our educational classes. A list of upcoming classes displayed on your screen, and you can also get the details from the website as noted. Next, we'll also have our 50-50 raffle. Have your tickets ready. Oh, how much is our raffle this time? $51. $51.
222 2190.
No.
The last 4 digits is 2190.
2190.
2190, the last 4 digits. Yeah.
Whoa. Before we end
the tickets.
Before we end the meeting, if there is anyone who would like to pitch a listing who didn't register previously, could come up to the front with the flyer. Anybody have a pitch? No pitch? Okay. Please join us next week, March 9th. Our speaker will be Belma Chintoy, speaking about EB5 immigrant investor programs. Thank you everyone for joining our meeting today. The meeting is adjourned.